more than that amount. A push is if it hits directly on the number. Then it's a push, nobody won, nobody lost. The over-under is the total score of the combined teams playing. So let's take baseball, for instance. Let's say the Red Sox are playing the Yankees. The over-under is 12. That means a combined total runs of 12 is projected to score one way or another.
That means they're not playing in London.
Right.
2 games, 40 runs.
That was much higher than that, actually. Actually, the over-under, I think, for that on the first day was 11, and then they realized they fucked up and jumped that. Because that happened in, the first 2 innings. But if you bet the over, that means you believe they're going to score more runs or have a higher combined score than whatever that number is. In college football, you'll see them be outrageous. They'll be 75, 80, sometimes even higher than that.
Again, Big 12.
Right, especially in the Big 12. Under means that you don't think combined those two teams are going to reach that point. These are good times to bet on two teams that have really good defense.
So like Mississippi State, Auburn.
Yes.
Would be a good 3-2 game.
Now, if there is no spread, that would be called a pick'em, and it's exactly what you think. Pick the team that you believe is going to win. A parlay is a bet in which a person would select one outcome that more than one outcome that must happen. So this would be saying that you've picked two teams to win. The payout is higher based on the number of events that you select. But if one of those bets one of the teams you've selected does not come through, you lost the entire bet.
Now, does that have to be on multiple games? Or, for example, let's say Super Bowl, I pick a team to win the coin toss. I pick who I think is going to kick or receive. I pick who's going to score the first touchdown. It can all be in the same game, right?
Those can all happen.
Okay.
You cannot have a bet that is contradictory to another bet.
I can't say that the Patriots are going to kick off and receive.
Right. But they just won't let you do that because it's not possible. Again, it prevents you from being dumb. Now, that being said, you brought up a good point. There is something called the coin toss, for example. That is a prop bet. It is not
kind of bet.
A bet on the game itself. It is a game on, or a bet on what you think could happen in a game. Now, there's multiple different ways that this can go off. You could do a prop bet on coin tosses. You can do a prop bet on
how long the national anthem is.
Yes, Super Bowl, this comes into effect a lot more than other sports.
What color's the Gatorade?
You could do a prop bet in a baseball game saying, I think Aaron Judge is going to hit a home run tonight. You could do that prop bet. Sometimes they will let you bet, especially at kiosks, extensively, and it's updating constantly. You could bet that this next play is going to be a strikeout. For example, when I was in Atlantic City, I bet that the Stars would score the next goal in the game versus the Blues.
You motherfucker! That was you! That was all you bastard!
Whatever. It didn't happen. That's not my fault. Guys need to score.
And we took care of that.
So, there's a lot of different ways in going about making your bet. But, again, go with the ones that you feel most confident in. There's another kind of a bet that you can play. Not all places allow you to do this, but it's called a teaser. Now, a teaser is like a parlay.
Now, hold on really quickly. For the most part, everything that you've been saying, I've had an idea of.
Okay.
I've never fucking heard of a teaser.
Okay, so a teaser is a type of parlay. Same concept. You have to pick multiple different things. The difference is that by doing this, the point spread changes to your favor. However, the payout is lower. So basically, you're taking the parlay, and instead of doing a parlay, you say you want it to be a teaser. So let's say the point spread was 6.5 points. You've chosen the teaser, which changed the point spread in that game from 6.5 points to 3. So now you only need the team to win by 3 instead of 6.5. However, you're going to earn less because you chose that option because you made it easier on the probability that this is going to happen.
Okay.
Now, the lines, which is whatever the odds are whatever the point spread is, whatever the betting line is, the plus or minus, those odds are determined somewhere else. Somebody else does this. Typically, it will be Vegas has their own books that do this. For example, Rivers uses a separate company out of Europe that does this. So these are people who set the odds. Odds now can be ever changing. So if you're confident in something and you're ready to place your bet, based on what you're seeing, place the bet. Because if you wait too long and the odds change, it can nullify your bet, or it will change out the amount that you can win. Because, again, you can bet on in-game action. In-game action would be something that is happening in the game. So, for example, let's say, again, Yankees and Red Sox are playing. Yankees are up by 5.
Sounds
I
realistic.
can choose the Red Sox at that point with the Red Sox being down. Their odds are going to be very low of winning, but your payout would be much higher. Let's say while I'm sitting there contemplating my card hitting the buttons, the Red Sox score 2 runs. The odds will change and update in real time for that happening. So be aware of that it can change. So always place your bet when you want to, or if you're doing it at the kiosk, pay attention to what's happening because it can change your payout. Typically, they will have all that information on the right-hand side of what your bet is and what you're planning on playing and what is going to pay out. But it will update in real time to show you that.
Okay.
Again, if you have any trouble doing this, you can always ask the person at the counter. They would be more than willing to help you do that. With payouts, there is the option that you can go to a kiosk and you can submit your ticket and it will fund you money onto the kiosk that you're currently at to either place more bets. If you want to cash out, which is getting money for your bid, you do have to go to the window. Because depending on how much you make, you may have to pay taxes on that.
And in New York, that's over 450?
600,
I think it's 600. It's somewhere around there. They'll be able to tell you what it is specifically at the casino. You can pay the taxes right then and there. And take whatever your winnings are home rather than have to. Because if you don't pay the taxes there, it is something you have to report on your tax return. You didn't just win this money willy-nilly. They will take your information.
All right. I think we should do a segment when football season actually starts back up called Dan D'Antoni Bets, where we each take hypothetical money and place money on games or prop bets or whatever. And
Monopoly money?
And then we, share Monopoly money, whatever, fiat money essentially.
I can steal some of that.
Yeah.
I am going to, because we have the blog, I will post it there, but I also have every intention of posting my, what they call in horse racing betting, in the money. In the money is finishing in the 3. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give you my 3 games, college and pro.
Your win, place, show.
Yes, for each week throughout the football season, and I'm going to send it to you so you can post it to our Facebook.
And so obviously,
And we can keep a running tally of how much I suck or how amazing I am.
so obviously you'd be doing that based on confidence. The most confident would be your win.
What I believe is the most likely bet, if I was looking at it, and what I would be confident in betting.
We should all do this. We'll come up with rules, and we'll all do this. This will be a segment. Maybe we'll replace.
I'll probably be at Rivers putting them in.
Maybe we'll replace our standard picks that we've been doing with this. I don't know. Maybe we'll do both. Who knows?
I don't get out. See, here's the thing. I don't.
to sign up. Or
I
figure it
also
out.
want to make sure to make this very clear, because now that this is an option, this is something that can be super addictive and super hard to break, especially if you start chasing. Chasing is a term meaning you are down money and you start betting aggressively on things that you have no business betting, and then you end up losing a ton of money. So that being said, my advice to anybody who gambles is my advice.
Only
that
take
I
the
do.
amount of money that you can
You're
lose.
willing to lose. Only take what you're willing to lose.
Bring your ID, your money.
You can do it. You can do it. I believe you, random listener who has a gambling problem.
He is enabling. That being said,
You have the O'Shea confidence. There you go.
also be confident in a point where if you get up money, go ahead, play around with it. Maybe make some bets you normally wouldn't do. But that being said, have a point where you're like, okay, I'm good that I've won. I can walk away. That being said, you are probably likely to find me maybe Saturday morning at Rivers.
We'll go there one time, and
They're going to have a whole lounge area for this.
oh
you can
yeah,
hang
I'm
out
super pumped. We as a group, we're going to have dinner or lunch, whatever.
there. I think we should do lunch for the midday college games.
Yeah, we'll do a lunch. We'll take a little bit of scratch to bet with. This is what I do when I go to the. Well, I haven't been in a while, but when I went to the track, I would in one pocket have my betting money, in my other pocket I had my food money, so that I knew where I was taking money from, and I would budget.
No.
So let's say there are 10 races being run that day.
You bought food there?
I'm going to be there from like 9 a.m. to like 7 p.m.
Saratoga, you bought food?
Yeah, at the track.
You lost.
I mean, it was fine.
You lost.
I was hungry. Anyways,
That being said, Shake Shack's there, and I can't get it anywhere else because, I don't live near the city.
if there are 10 races, I would budget $2 per race for me to bet.
Okay.
So go in knowing that my advice from a non-gambler, go in knowing how you want to bet.
Yes, and again, if you're uneasy about this, you can look this up. You can ask for help. These people are trained specifically to be able to explain things to you. With you guys, I'd be more than happy to play around and tell you how things are going to play out.
Let me
But
tell you, I want to
even
do
if I'm not there I'm not going to hang out there every weekend and watch the games, but I'll feel confident about a number of parlays. I'll put them in. I'll go Saturday morning, put them in, and then I'm going to leave. And I'll watch them with my tickets at home and lose, trash, win, pile.
oh shit, accidentally trash. Go
Yeah.
grab that. Let me give you a good bet. This is going to be a long haul bet. This is a season long bet. Right now, the current odds for the number of wins West Virginia is going to get is 5. Over. Bet the fucking over. No chance they win less than 5 games. No chance.
Season-long betting is a possibility. You can do that. Even in the off season, there is that possibility to be able to do that. So you could bet teams to make it to the Super Bowl, make it to the playoffs, win the Super Bowl. You can do that. The odds tend to increase and decrease as the season goes on, so be aware of that. But you can even do that in the off season. It's very possible. I mean, remember, the odds were so high on the Knicks until the Pelicans fucked them. And then nobody wanted to go there. And now they're shit.
That's a great segue because we're going to end this. Speaking of the Knicks, I am a disgruntled Knicks fan, as Dan O'Shea and I debated at length for a long time. I guess that's what at length means. About the Knicks. I am still a Knicks fan, but I want to root for a team that I think has the chance to actually win a championship.
Knicks.
Well, that's not the Knicks.
That's not the Knicks. So we've devised a plan. For this season only, I'm going to root for another team to win the championship. And I'm going to need your guys' help to pick that team. Dan Beebe, I showed you paper that had all of the teams written on it, with the exception of the Knicks and 3 teams that I eliminated, which were the Celtics, the Nets, and the Lakers. Every other team is on the paper, and I had you look at it, and I cut it up in front of you. So you know I didn't just stuff like the fucking Warriors 26 times on these pieces of paper. Dan O'Shea, there's not much you can do except support me from afar. Tony, I'm going to have you pick. The way this works is the way that we did it for Dan O'Shea with his football team and Dan Beebe with his hockey team. Tony, you're going to pick a team for me. If I don't like the team on the first pick, I will say pass, and you will draw again. If I don't like